Hey guys, welcome to the video. We're gonna get straight to the point on this one. You're probably clicked in this video because of the title and you're interested in how to do what the title says, right? So in this case, we are trying to make an SAE adapter for this transmission. SAE is standard. You guys probably already know this, but it's standard made back in the day. Basically, anything industrial-wise, it tried to help organize and make it easy to adapt different agriculture and heavy duty like semi stuff, equipment, transmissions, and other things that go in the back of the engine to each other. So things like dozers and irrigation pumps, air compressors, crap like that, right? So in this case, this did used to be an air compressor. This is a Bedford. Where is this? This is a Bedford. I forget. I think it's a Bedford 220. It's a 4-cylinder diesel, very uncommon over here. You guys probably really haven't heard much about them, but I picked this up for a steal, and I wanted to put a transmission on it. Now, this being a standard that is pretty recognized, there are like off-the-shelf options for these transmissions or for these patterns. For example, if you had the legendary NV4500, which you guys may know from like the Cummins, there's an adapter that you could buy for one of them, bolt right up to the transmission, bolt right to this, and it's all said and done. Now, the reason I know that is because I actually have an NV4500. So, if we come right over here, you'll see it is right there. So, why aren't we using this transmission? Well, that was the plan originally. I was going to put this behind that engine, and everything would have been gravy. But plans kind of changed. So if you come over here, this is a Bedford 330. This is the big brother 6-cylinder version of that 4-cylinder. So now this engine, or that transmission, is going behind this engine. And as you can see on this engine, this actually has a bell housing. This didn't have an SAE pattern. So we're gonna adapt that transmission to this bell housing pattern. And the reason we're keeping what these engines have instead of trying to make stuff work is because, as you see, this already has a starter, already has a flywheel, clutch is already in there. And if we go back over to Bedford, it's the same way. It already has a starter that's hooked up. It already has a flywheel that will work. So we're not really trying to change the game here. We just want to make what we have work. So now the transmission I have for this little project, honestly, it probably isn't ideal. This is a GM, this is a GM design or a GM option version, a GM version of the Mockup a833, real popular 4-speed. This is the Overdrive version, so it has 1, 2, 3 in overdrive on this particular one. These came in GM trucks for a while in the 80s. So I have this, and I want to try to put it on here. So the first thing we did is we tried finding the measurements for the SAE pattern. Now there's a couple different ones. Usually the smaller numbers or the bigger numbers are the smaller patterns. So if you had one that was bigger than this, for example, this one, this is, I believe, SAE2, and this is the wrong size. We have SAE3. So once we found the measurements, and I'll have a link down in the description, guys. I have all the measurements for all the SAE patterns, so if you need an SAE pattern and you don't know the dimensions, you can look there. But once we found the dimensions, I reached out to my good buddies, SENDCUTSEND, to have the patterns made. And I have them made out of wood, because wood is way much cheaper, right? So for example, if I would've got this made out of metal first go, I'd have been a little upset, right? So we got them made out of this MDF material. It's real cheap. So it's to do the initial mock-up, okay? And I'll bring you over here in a second and show you like a little bit more detail of what this is. But the next thing you may be asking is, well, Mr. Tall, I don't have the skill to design that in CAD, so I'll have to have someone else do it. I don't know anybody else that can do it. Well, I have a solution for you there too. Link in the description. The site is called Fiverr, and essentially it's a marketplace where people offer their services. So I know a little bit about CAD, but I didn't want to risk messing this up. So I gave the dimensions that I had, and I found a guy on there that offered a CAD service, and he made this up, and I think he only charged me $10. Not bad at all. For $10 for this, and he made me one other piece, which I'll show you guys in a minute. So after we got this mocked up, bolted up, as you can see, it's bolted up here. The only other measurement we needed besides the SAE thing was just a bearing retainer size on the transmission here. So that is going to go in here, obviously. After we did that, we had to measure the input length that this Bellhousing adapter is going to, the overall length that we're going to need. So we just use a straight edge across here, and we put this all the way down to the bottom of the crank after we popped out the pilot bearing. And we made a mark, and we took that mark over to our transmission, and we lined it up there. And what we found out is that if we, this material here for the faceplate, I made it out of thinner material because it's cheaper. If we make this out of the thicker material that the final product is going to be made out of anyway, it should put us at just the right length, so that the pilot bearing, the end of the shaft goes into the pilot bearing just enough and doesn't bottom out, or isn't in there far enough. And if it is a little short, we can just take a little bit off the end of the snout of this transmission, off the end of the input shaft. So that should be good. So what else I gotta tell you? Not much really, to tell you the truth. This is all pretty simple. I'll take this apart and I'll show you exactly how it's made. And like I said, check out SENDCUTSEND. Link in the description for SENDCUTSEND, by the way, if you guys do want to tackle this. I have a discount code in there, so for your first product, I think it's either 10 or 15% off your first order of SENDCUTSEND. So make sure you use my code, check it out, right? But yeah, so that's this video. I just wanted to get this out here. And if you guys want to know more about these Bedford engines, I'm going to be making a video on them soon too. So hit like and subscribe if you're interested in weird old diesel projects. This is going in a 50 Ford F1 pickup. So if you're interested in stuff like that, also check us out. And I'll probably make a part 2 once we get these made in metal. And we'll kind of like follow up on the installation and all of that, because we're probably going to have to use like a hydraulic throttle bearing, stuff like that. So I'm going to cut you off. I'll show you these parts that I had made, and I'll wrap up the video. So thanks for watching, fellas. All right, so the thing that I think makes this all work and worth doing is just how simple the overall construction is. So I only had 2 CAD designs made. I had this bolt circle here turned into this. So it's reamed on both sides, right? So it fits on each side, right? So, and the reason I did that, there's 2 reasons really. One is because one ring costs like 3 times as much as making 2 half rings. It's just material wasted, I guess, right? So this is a lot cheaper than making 1 full ring. So I got this made. And I'm using these as spacers, right? So I knew roughly how far the front of the transmission had to be spaced away from the existing flywheel. So that's what I'm using these for. And I can get these made in different thicknesses. So once I knew my measurements, I would be able to guesstimate and kind of like use these as spacers to bring it out more. So that's part 1. And then the final part is this big piece, which is the SAE bolt circle. And then this center is the same size as the pilot bearing in the transmission. So this is all centered with each other. So ideally, that transmission should go right in here and be centered into the back of the crank, hopefully. That's my plan. All right, so that's all I got right now, guys. It's finally starting to warm up, so we're going to get more done. Thank you for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Make sure you join the YouTube group. Not YouTube group, the Facebook group, which is also down below in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys have fun with your projects, and make sure you show them in the Facebook group. I'd love to see them. This is Tall Garage sign out. You guys have a good one.